Yeah, I'll probably mess this up a couple times, so just hang in there until I get it. Well, there's a black man with a black cat living in a black neighborhood. He's got an interstate running through his front yard. You know, he thinks his God is so good. When I first started making records, I didn't know anything about songs. I didn't know anything about the art of making records or anything. It was just, I knew that I liked it. You know, I knew that I'd always liked rock and roll.
There's a few songs I've been able to connect with people, and people think the songs are written about them.
Oh yeah, let's say life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone.
I got hooked up with a guy who said, listen, man, I can't sell a guy named John Mellencamp. I can sell John Cougar. John Cougar, wow, wow, wow. Here's my options. I can either pour concrete or I can make records.
I need a lover that won't drive me crazy. Some girls don't be over. Hey, hit the highway. I've been doing it since I was a young kid. I come out grinning. Well, I fight authority always wins.
You know, I get enjoyment out of just hanging around in this place, you know. And like I said in the song, I was born here, I'll die here.
Educated in a small town, taught to fear Jesus in a small town.
I didn't really want to be the keeper of the small town. I just wrote about this town I grew up in.
No, I cannot forget from where it is that I come from. I cannot forget the people who love me. Rain on the scarecrow, blood on the plow.
It seems like to me they don't mind the farmers farming the land. They just don't want them to own their own land.
You know, you can support the troops and not support the war, but there's a lefty Mellencamp doing it right now.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, down the Dixie Highway, back home. This is our country.
It's never been cool to like John Mellencamp. Even to this day, it's not cool. But somehow, I've been lucky enough to write these songs that touch people.
Oh, but ain't that a matter with you and me? Ain't that a matter? Hey, we're something to see, baby. Ain't that a matter? Home on the free. Yeah, 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 yeah. Little big house, yeah. You and me. Oh, yeah.
Here to induct John Mellencamp into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Billy Joel.
Hey, am I coming through on this thing? All right. John Mellencamp called me up back in 1985 about doing the first Farm Aid concert. It was out in the boondocks in southern Illinois somewhere. I said, John, you're crazy. I'm a New York Jew. They hate people like me. They'll kill me. John says, all the more reason for you to show up, prove that you care about them. These people are losing their farms, their livelihoods. They need to know folks like you want to help. So I said, all right, look, let me see if I can get another Jew for you. Let me see if I can get somebody from the West Coast. So I call up Randy Newman. And I say, you know, Randy, you want to play this Farm Aid thing? And Randy says, you know, with that voice again, you're crazy. I'm an LA Jew. They hate people like me. And I said, all the more reason for you to show up, prove you care about them, right? He comes back with, they're gonna lynch us. Where is it? And I said, Peoria. He goes, it sounds like a urinary disease. I said, come on, Randy. So he came. He actually showed up. So in the afternoon on the day of the show, I'm standing next to the stage with Randy before he goes on. He did not look happy. We looked out in the audience and saw what looked like about 100,000 children of the corn wearing John Deere hats. So Randy turns to me and he mutters, "I hate you. They're gonna kill me just like I told you, and they're gonna kill you too." Anyway, Farm Aid turned out to be a big success. It's still raising money to help farmers to this day. Now, a few years after this, I'm doing a concert in Indianapolis. I get a message John wants to invite us out to his neck of the woods to play a game of flag football. So we thought, hey, this might be a lot of fun. Since we had a day off after the show, we took him up on it. Before we get out to John's place, I had to talk with the guys in the band, the road crew. I said, look, take it easy on John. Don't rough him up or anything. We don't want to hurt the guy who writes the songs, right? Just score enough points to win, but not by too much, because the deal is whoever loses has to buy a steak dinner for both teams. Well, it turns out we needn't have worried about John getting hurt. He's all over the field, throwing passes, catching passes, running, blocking, intercepting, going nah, 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 nah. You name it, he did it, and we got creamed. After the game, we find out that their best player was the first-string quarterback from the University of Indiana. Jackie gonna be a football star? My ass. All right. Now, they called John the little bastard. So, since some of the people who tour with John also go on tour with me, I asked them if they had any nice things to tell me about John so I could tell you about it tonight. Here's the response I got. Nice things. No, I can't think of any nice things about John. Another one was, are you talking about John Mellencamp? Let me think about that. I'll get back to you on the next tour. And then there's, you're kidding me, right? This is a joke, right? Don't tell him I said that or I'm toast. But they still said they love you, and they don't know why. And maybe it's because you're a fighter, John. You can talk the talk because you've walked the walk. You've lived the life. You didn't take from anybody. Now, you know, in this business, they only really love you when you die young. People don't like it when we get old and start aging. I guess it reminds them of their own inevitable decrepitude. You see, if we die young, we become icons. Unfortunately, we also become dead. And while old age is not a glamorous prospect, it still beats the shit out of being fertilizer. Now, you scared me a couple of times when I heard we might have lost you, John, even though it might have seemed like a good career move at the time. You know, in this line of work, the only thing sexier than a hit record is death. But I should have known you were too ornery to die. And nowadays, you don't have to worry about being called a pop singer or a pop star. Let's face it, nobody's selling records anymore. The record industry died before you did. Congratulations, John. You outlived the music business. And what do you know? Now they induct you into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, welcome to the club. You know, it used to be a lot more fun before it became a TV show. People would come up here under the influence of all sorts of substances and really go off on everyone and everything. Now we have to be all nice and polite so they can sell ads for VH1. Right? John, you remember all those dumbass videos we used to have to make in the 80s? You know where all that ended up? VH1 presents Behind the Music That Sucks. Thanks a lot. You too. Anyway, don't let this club membership change you, John. We need you to be pissed off and restless, because no matter what they tell us, we know this country's going to hell in a handcart. This country's been hijacked. You know it, and I know it. People are scared and people are angry. People need to hear a voice like yours to echo the discontent that's out there in the heartland. They need to hear stories about it. They need to know that somebody out there feels the way they do in the small towns and in the big cities. They need to hear it. And it doesn't matter if they hear it on a jukebox in the local gin mill or in a damn truck commercial, because they ain't gonna hear it on a radio anymore. You're right, John. This is still our country. And someone's gotta tell them, don't take any shit. And John, you do that very well. So now it's time for me to present you with this shiny little tchotchke. Welcome you to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, John Mellencamp.
Up next, John Mellencamp.
As long as I can hear a song that puts a tear in my eye and a lump in my throat, I know there's still hope.
And Tom Hanks inducts the Dave Clark Five.
Over and over and over again, the Dave Clark Five made a joyful sound.
The thing that Billy doesn't understand is that in the Midwest, we don't know from Jewish people. You know, they thought he was Italian. There's no doubt that anybody who's ever stood up here to accept this award, nobody has put themselves behind the 8 ball more than I did. I came to New York after reading an article in Cream magazine that said Main Man was looking for new talent. That was my plan. I was 22 years old and I was a barroom singer, married with a kid, had never been on an airplane, never been in a building more than 4 stories tall, and I was ripe for the picking to be the full catastrophe of the record business. So I made a deal with the devil. I didn't even know it. Johnny Cougar, indeed. But I knew something that they didn't know. I was born very lucky. And this might sound obtuse, but I was born with a disease called spina bifida. I should have been paralyzed from the neck down. And in 1951, they operated with pinking shears and, you know, a screwdriver. So you could imagine my parents, who were only 20 years old, when they heard this prognosis. It was grim. It was unheard of back then to operate on a newborn. So they waited 6 weeks to see if the kid would live. And I was born lucky. You know, it was a high-risk operation, took 18 hours. A young surgeon carefully worked on my spinal cord without damaging it and damaging any of the nerves, and the doctor charged my parents, who didn't have any money, $1. And I called the guy up. His name is Dr. Heinberger. He's still alive. He's 92 years old now, and I talked to him before I came here to get all the details. And my grandma, my entire life, from a little kid till she died, would always come up to me and whisper. She'd call me Buddy. She'd go, "Buddy, you're the luckiest boy in the world." And I am. I'm lucky to be standing here for any number of reasons. Over the last 15 years, I've had about 15 guys in my band, and I take great pleasure and the pride in seeing these. I always use local musicians. I'm proud of their accomplishments, and I thank them for putting up with me all these years. I'd like to thank my mom and dad, who introduced me to music and taught me the value of hard work and dedication. They're sitting right up there. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I'd like to thank my daughters, Teddy, Joe, and Justice Michelle, for having broad shoulders, for not having a dad when they were growing up as teenagers, because I was on the road all the time. And I'd like to thank my sons, Hud and Speck. You'll meet Speck later because he's going to play with me. And my son, Hud, is 13 years old, and he's getting ready to compete in the Midwestern Golden Gloves champ fight. And the reason I bring that up is because Hud's bigger than me now, and He's 13, and we think he's going to get to be about 6'1" and about 235. And in about 4 years, I'm going to be 60 years old, and I'm going to treat myself to bringing him back to New York to whip some asses to some people who I didn't get along with in the music business. I'd like to thank my wife of 17 years, Elaine. She always reminds me that I'm a pair of blue jeans and to lead with my left and keep slugging, even when I don't have the energy to sometimes. So anyway, to make this thing up, when I came to New York, I was the unwashed, unwanted immigrant worker who showed up every day who wanted my ticket to go to work. Some days I was on top of the coffee bags, and some days I was down in the hole. I had to create my own job because New York and Los Angeles didn't have a job for me inside the music business. So I created a job outside the music business, and I was fortunate enough to write a couple songs that connected with people, and people thought the songs was about them. And I want to thank those people. And I've been a total walking contradiction my entire career, and I intend to stay that way. I've never cared about money, but I always wanted to get paid. I never cared about having hit records, but I always wanted to hear my songs on the radio. I never cared what the critics had to say, but I always paid close attention to what they wrote. After 32 years of having the opportunity, from playing many years playing in the back rooms and the bars and the barns and getting an education from the farm workers and the factory workers, watching the struggle of the people far away from the interstate that the public eye no longer looks at, the people who built this country on their sweat, who built this country has slowly and silently left behind. I'm the guy who rolls the ball up the hill, who wakes up every morning to find that the ball is back at the bottom of the hill. I'm that guy, and as long as I can hear a song that puts a tear in my eye and a lump in my throat, I know there's still hope, and I got a job that's unfinished. There's still work to be done. You know, the sword is a mighty weapon, but it ain't nothing compared to the songs and the words in the songs that we sing. So thanks a lot.
He's got an interstate running through his front yard. You know, he thinks he's got it so good. There's a woman in the kitchen cleaning up the evening slide. And he looks at her, she's darling, I can't remember when you could. Summer cloud. Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? With something to see, babe, ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah. Little pink houses for you and me. He's got a greasy head, sleazy smile, says, Lord, this must be my destination. First told me when I was younger, said, boy, you're gonna be president. Just like everything else, those old crazy dreams kinda came and went. Oh, but ain't that something to see, babe, ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah. Little pink houses for you and me.
West people and more people. What do they know? No, no. Go to work and somehow rise. On vacation bound out to go from Mexico. And there's winners and there's losers, but that ain't no big deal. 'Cause simple man, baby, peaceful thrills and the bills that kill. But ain't that America for you and me? Ain't that America? It's something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah. Little big houses for you and me. Oh, yeah. Ain't that America for you and me? Ain't that America? It's something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free. Yeah, 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 yeah. Little big house, baby, for you and me. Oh, yeah. This is my son, Spec, Mellencamp. But I wrote this song, and I still feel the same way today that I did when I wrote it 25 years ago. Hey, I can get you in a compromising position. Yeah, they like to get you there, smile in your face. Yeah, they think you're so cute when they got you in We really need to dance tonight, you know? It's not really even rock and roll unless somebody's dancing. I say na 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 na. I need someone to help me out one time. Hey! I say yeah, yeah, yeah. I fight authority, authority always wins. Help me out one time. Well, I've been doing it since I was a young kid to come out grinning. I fight authority, authority always wins. So I say, I fight authority, authority always wins. I fight authority, authority always wins. Well, I've been doing it since I was a young kid to come out grinning. Well, I fight authority, authority always wins. So I say.
Thank you very much.